Hi, and welcome back to another installment of my video presentations. Today I'm going to demonstrate how I create a new note. This is going to be using a template and from an already established note. But in preparing for this demonstration, one thing that I realized was that there are demonstratable actions, things to watch, activities that we can learn from. And then there's also this internal dialogue which goes on when I create links, when I find associations. And this mental dialogue is hard to describe. It's difficult for me to verbalize. And I anticipate that it would be boring, would be time consuming, would make this video into hours or maybe not. We'll see. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll back what I have done previously in my Zettelkasten, and we'll roll it forward, showing you snapshots of how I got to where it is today. And we'll see how this goes. I'm looking forward to this. Okay, now on to the good stuff. Let me orient you here where we are. We're looking at a class note from a class I took, and I'm noticing that this note is 621 words long. It's kind of big. Most of my class notes are of that size or even some bigger, but I'm noticing through here that when I read down through here, I'm noticing a particular concept called transcorporeality. And it's interesting in itself, and I'm going to extract it out into its own note. And so the first step here I've shown you here, and what I'm going to do now is switch into a two window work mode that will allow you to see what's going on. Okay, here we are in the two window mode. I have the same note in both windows, so you can see how the note is transformed during this process. What this reminds me to mention is that my workflow is such that I often will create one large note, just keep going. While the flow is happening, I'll keep going, or I may cut and paste a huge number of highlights from a book reading into a single note, and then process them all together in a single note, and then refactor them out into individual atomized notes. And this is sort of the process that I'm going through here. We have this class note. We talked about transcorporeality, and it became something of an interest, and I felt the need to atomize it and take advantage of that. So that's my workflow, my process, and this is normally how I work. So here we are looking at transcorporeality, and well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all the stuff that I want in the note at the end, and I'm going to cut that. We'll see what I'll do with that later. So I'm just going to cut that out, and now I have just this transcorporeality. What I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight this, and this is now going to become the title of my new note. I'll execute the commands for creating a new note, and this brings up a list of notes that I can, these are different templates that I use. This particular one is going to be an archive note from a link. This is going to become the link, and I'm going to create a new archive note from the link. And what it did, we can see, is it converted what I had highlighted into a link. And this is how I form my links. And it also created a new note based on that link. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, right here, I'm going to paste in what I had copied out earlier. And now I have a new note with this. I've taken everything from my original note and created a new atomized note with it that just talks about transcorporeality. Now, the one thing I want to point out here is that it does have a tag called inbox, and this is just a holding spot where I put everything until I formalize and feel comfortable that it is properly linked throughout my system and tagged. And maybe it'll stay there for a day or two while I review and think about the idea and develop it more firmly. But that's how I create a new link. So we'll come back here in just a moment and take a look at the templates. Okay, here we are looking at, this is my inbox. This is, first of all, let me say, this is my test system. So in my production live system, I don't have near as many notes in my inbox as I do have in my test system here. But to review, this is the note on transcorporeality. The template part was just this first 4 or 5 lines here that set up the YAML block for the front matter and put the title in, which is all that was necessary for my usual generic template. Now we'll take a look here at some of the other templates. This is the template for the structure note. It has a couple, another tag, which puts it in the saved searches with all the other structure notes for me to review placement of originating target tags. It also here has a little prompt that gets put in each time to remind me what a structure note, what I want to do with a structure note. This is a class note. This was set up for a class I was taking. It's now ended, but these were class notes. It had the Zoom link there for me to grab each time, so I didn't have to go searching for it. It also tied back to the main structure note for the entire class. And so I would open this up prior to the class and put links in here and things I wanted to discuss, and then afterwards I would put my notes in here, and then each time they would grow and grow and grow, and many of them were like the transcorporeality note. There would be some little segment in the class that I thought was an idea that I wanted to grasp out, and I would pull that out into a regular note. And then here's what the structure notes look like. So each of the different templates I have different prompts to help remind me what I need to do. They also have different tags But otherwise they're structured exactly the same, and I treat them the same other than the structure notes. This idea of using templates is not something that is new or original in any way. And I use Keyboard Maestro to help me with this um, templating so that I have some sort of standardization throughout my archive. But a person could use different text replacement tools, text expander, for example, or even the built-in saving of text and text templating, text replacement, I guess is called, in OS X. You could use this for this, but what I use is Keyboard Maestro, and I'll include the templates in the templating package. It's a whole package of different templates and different parts, but I'll include that in the post.